Hello everyone, it's Cheryl Millett here, live at 5 Mondays. How are y'all doing? Trying to check in with people, and you too are checking in with people more and more, and people are checking in with people to see how they're doing, to see where their thoughts are on both taking the injection and other things. I'm still hearing stories where people have been, let's say, cooped up in their place for months. If we think of this number 2 lockdown happening here, it's been quite a while. Actually, at the end of the day, it's been quite a while. But I hope to bring some very good information today. Some information that when I've shared it with a couple people in the last day, they have said, can I share this? So I want to share this with this person. These are just people, not people that I know that are like-minded, but people that I associate with them, whether that's with the Walk Club or a couple of other areas as well. And that's, so just to get information now, because now we've had, and I'm not going to use the word anniversary because that's just, I don't know, seems like it's just not me. So we have this time, we have this time that has passed, and this time that has passed has, for a number of people, brought them from one place of thinking to now understanding, doing their own research, and we're talking people who are doctors, people who are lawyers, people who are big business people or business people, and they have come to different conclusions than when it first started, because you never want to believe that people are being dishonest. You never want to believe that the people in authority are actually not for your interest. Actually, there was a short little clip that Glenford gave me here. I'm just going to open it up on my phone. I'm just going to read it. It's one of those things. And okay, so thank you, Glenford, for this. Let me just read it here. It just kind of flips things up. That's what I like. I like about, if we're open and we're doing this, we can flip things around. Oh, hi, Brock. We can flip things around. And why not? Why not flip things around? Because if we do that, then we are, how can I say it, stepping out of the comfort zone. All right, so this is, I'm just going to read it. The real conspiracy theorists believe that the government cares about them, and the media would never mislead or lie to them, and the pharmaceutical industry that makes billions off sickness wants to cure them. Just a simple, looks like it was just written on a piece of paper that somebody's kind of holding up here. But the idea is, where does this lie? I mean, you and I and other people have heard from different angles, and surely just even me asking here, polling, why do people wear masks, is for all of us to get an insight where people are. And whether it's at a level where they choose to be for the reasons they choose to be, that's fine. I mean, it's an acceptance at all times. It's an acceptance that we can have for our choices, and that wonderful thing I call free will and freedom to choose, and we all have it, and so others do as well. So I see more and more, even from family members and of their family members, if people want to believe a certain thing or they want to do a certain thing, they're letting go now. They're just going, if that's what they want to do, let them do it. That's what they want to do. So that's coming out more and more. That I'm hearing, I'm seeing it, and it's great. Now, one of the things I want to bring up, and I just had to think of it the last minute. I had a few things here and there over the last couple of days, and then they just left my mind. I didn't write them down on my trusty Live at 5 format sheet now that keeps me even a little bit more organized. So something new. This is something that I had to get my head around, but I want to, I've talked about iridology and how the body's all communicated through our nervous system. But this might be, that's the electrical system in our body, and then there's the energetic part. So we have all these, how could I say it, levels to our system where it's being communicated. So our eyes are vibrating with through our nervous system, creating a certain markings, images. But here's something, this is the opposite. It's the feet. And I understand through my teachings and learnings that our feet detoxify very well. So there's a communication from the bottom up, from the top down, every which way. And what I learned about was a particular technology. And this particular technology is working for the brain, working with the brain. If I had not seen it with my own two eyes, I was continuously trying to deeply understand what it is that if you could step on something or wear something on your foot, that it instantly, let's say within a few seconds, would calm the brain. Now, when you calm the brain, that's helpful. When you put things in homeostasis, when you calm things, it's just good for the whole body. And in this, I'll put the link down below. But this technology has been around. I heard about it very first before it actually came to market. And I was at an inventor's. I was actually presenting on the brain. With inventors and brain, they're thinking a lot. So is nutrition and brain health. And went to dinner afterwards, had some food afterwards with the group of people, and this fellow was there, and so he was talking, but was helping to promote it. And now we're talking, probably a good 10 years ago. Now the idea is that there's some sort of a pattern that they've created. It's probably proprietary, I'm sure it is, and I won't know what that is. But if you if you step on it, and it is near the front part of your foot, if you've heard of reflexology, you've heard of, there's pressure points there, then it immediately sends signals or does something to say to the brain, everything's okay, you can relax. And this is really cool. Now at first they had orthotics. I'm going to show one because I just kind of, 1 minute going, okay, so what am I, something new? What was it that I wanted to speak about? But, so I decided I'm just going to show you this. And it's not something that I sell a lot of. I probably don't spend a lot of time on it for the reasons I'm spending time on a few things that are more of a priority to me. But I wanted to show you because watching and learning and listening to people who have experienced it seems like if somebody is in pain all the time, this is a tool for them to try. Now, overall, wearing them all the time is going to be the better scenario. It's like you don't want to drink all your water today for all of the week. It's just you spread it out and it's more consistent. And with this, you would then be able to, now pain causes a lot of tension in the body, so that can cause a lot of people to not be able to do this, not be balanced, all of those things, not digest properly, so many things. But I'm going to post, I've got the link somewhere, I'm going to post so you can actually see the video. It's with a Montreal Canadian hockey player, and he gets tested and he gets to see, and then he tells you just how much more comfortable it is walking or hiking when he went on the trip, when typically his ankle would get irritated because of injury, and he would inevitably have to pain, and then with that pain, then have to deal with it. So because the reason why I like about this is non-evasive, it's simple to get your head around, it's worth a try, and if you have other natural things regarding helping to deal with pain, then you could use them too. But this may be a very good tool for people who are not looking to change their diet immensely or somewhat, and also in the very near short term, something now that a person can do. So I'm just going to show you because easily you can see this is the back side. So in here, I'm not sure if you can see, if I go like this, you can kind of see it. This has got to be on the front of the foot. And just by having this pressure on your foot, it changes the brain to be calm. So the colors are greens and blues versus what was previously in the brain, the mapping of the brain, the color was oranges and reds, so the brain's on fire basically, and it's it's almost looking at, I might have talked about sympathetic and parasympathetic before, and you surely understand adrenaline, right? So you're go, 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 and the sympathetic nervous system kind of kicks in. That's kind of everything is like what. So this technology with the pressure points actually puts you into parasympathetic. At least that's my understanding of it. And so everything would be calmer. And when you're calm and you have no pain, because pain causes tension, causes stress. And even in the eyes, you can see it as stress rings. So thinking, so calmness. So people have different responses with it. Let's say there's a number of conditions that I've seen where they've tried it and they can stand up without a cane, right? I've heard of people get rid of their plantar fasciitis. I have seen people have much better balance. And I've heard of people have less pain. So like this hockey player, and he has just no irritation pain. He can hike a lot longer, which sounds good if you want to go on longer hikes and more hikes, especially if you're out and around. Hello, Ferdinand. So let's get into briefly I'm going to mention the contest, because it was just something fun I was thinking about as I was kind of grabbing the book and wanting to read it, and I actually mentioned it. I wonder how much this book weighs. So I'm going to bring it out just so you can see, but down below there's actually some fun. Let's have some fun. So I'm just going to, oh lordy, bring it out. So guessing game as to how much this book weighs. So you guess. I like the person put grams. And it was because I worked in commodities and food processing, I knew exactly the conversion from grams. So anyway, health and longevity. This is, I'm kind of throwing it around, but I'm actually doing weights with it at the same time. But it's a book, and if you want to participate, then you just have to put your number below. Can we do it for the fun of it? Yeah, you can do it for the fun of it if you're anywhere around the world, but I decided just to put in a little prize for it. It's not a big deal. You can always gift it if you want, but it's 30 minutes. We talk. You may have some health questions, any questions you want, and then and then my book. So if you're in Canada, I will ship it. Just something fun. Again, you can do it just for the fun of it. So I'm just going to move this off of my lap. What I wanted to go into is today I was at the health food store. I like to tell some stories. So I was at a health food store today, and I've known them for 20 years. And so we're just in the back room where not back room, but they have it, the way they have it sorted out is there's another small room there, and it's more private from the main store. And so takes down his mask because he calls it for what it is, BS, what's going on today. And we chatted just for a couple of minutes, wanted to see actually how his kids were doing. I heard that he was a grandfather, so it was fun. So we had nice little chat there, and he had one employee that was right there, but he's obviously very comfortable with pulling down his mask and having a conversation. So it was very good, fun. Courage. So that is one of the things that it is a time. This time is to bring out the courage. The videos that I want to kind of bring up, and I'm going to put below, hopefully grow the courage of everybody. What I'm hearing from this person, Freedom Alliance, out of Ireland, really good. Her name is Dr. Anne McCloskey, is that on March 20th, they're going to have all over Ireland. I'm just trying to determine whether or not they're doing something here and at other countries around the world, but this is a stand of your courage, people's courage all around Ireland. But it's a good video, even regardless of that part. This doctor goes through all of the different points, and so it's very, very good. The other video too, that is good is the Canadian doctors speak out. So again, thank you everybody for sending the videos. I don't know if I'll ever get to all of them, but I do try to check them out. So this is actually a very, very good video as well. It's only 11 minutes, but it's a handful of doctors that take various areas. Now let's see if I can actually see which ones they are. I didn't make any notes, but there's this one doctor. Anyway, there's all the different, a handful of different areas. If you watch this video, you'll see how they approach them for the public to better understand that either one, research has come in, and or they found this research. If you look at this research, it will tell you that there is nothing crazy here, or the stats, the statistics they show there, for kids and for teenagers to stop wearing the mask. They say it's so lovely how they've presented it. They did a great job. I don't feel any animosity from them at all. The feelings are really good. They're here to they're speaking, they're telling, they're teaching all at the same time. And this video might be very good. The other third video I'm probably going to post once again is Geert Vanden Bossche, and I've got the Bigtree one where he just at certain points he stops the video and he speaks to it, maybe helps the layperson understand it a little bit more. And as I go through it, I'm understanding a little bit more. But here's the beauty of it, is we have to understand nature versus artificial. I'm going to keep going back to that time and time again, because just about anything in our world, we can separate the two. Now maybe there's a combination of the two. If it comes in, I'll speak to that. But you have natural foods, you have artificial foods, you have some that are partially artificial or with artificial stuff in them. You have people that are acting artificially because of the way, programming, I'm just going to say, or just how we were raised. It's as simple as that. Television programming, that's probably what I'm going to say, drama. And so when it comes to Dr. Geert, I'm just going to say Dr. Geert. I'm not on a first name basis, but it's easier to say than all three. So Dr. Geert goes through this. Now he's a vaccine expert, and he goes through how important it is. Now he believes highly in the vaccines, but what he also slips in there, because he's trying to tell people to not do this. Actually, he's trying to get the World Health Organization and the government, but nobody's listening. Surprise, surprise, nobody's listening. And not responding. That's probably more the case, not responding. But he goes into talking about how the natural innate immune system, and especially for children. So one of these other videos talks about children and how they need not mask, how they need to hug, how they need to get outside, and they need to play, and they need to be with each other, and that they are not, they don't, there's such a small chance that they're actually going to spread anything to other children and to adults. It's more like the adults, but even then there's a small chance. So when it comes to asymptomatic, it's also spoken in one of these videos, you have nothing to worry about. The research, you're going to see the research papers. If you want to look them up like I did, you just pause the video, you'll see the headlines. If you want to confirm and validate that these research does exist, then you just pause the video and search them up. So all these things that have been coming out from various sides, this is the kind of thing that you want to be attuned to and see the, not even the common sense, but the actual research in some of these cases as well. But those 3 videos I'm going to post down below, and you can share however you like. Put them in emails and share them instead of just sharing them from links here. And that, I think, is going to be almost raising us in a place where we can come together more and more. So this is the thing, this is the courage, and that we want to be talking about. The idea of what did I want to say? Vaccine subjects, mutating virus. Yes, and they also talk about in and amongst there about these variants and mutations as well. Dr. Geert talks about it, but he brings it in as it is a huge problem based on the vaccines changing the way your immune system works. And then you don't have your natural immunity. And if you don't have your natural immunity and you allow the fake or artificial way of supporting our immune system to do its thing, it doesn't have the broad spectrum or ability. It's almost like a robot. You know, if you look at a robot, guaranteed any of us humans are going to be able to beat it somehow, somewhere. I mean, it just makes sense at this time and place. We're not talking about strength or anything like that, but you'd be able to run circles around it. And this is how I see this, this injection, is that it is more stagnant. It is more rigid in its ability to help the body with this or others, if you want to think of variants and whatever. But in one of the other videos, it says it's not really a big deal, the length of time it takes for these variants and all of this. But so you really do want to have your natural immunity because it has a broad spectrum. And why wouldn't it? Because our bodies are wonderful. Our bodies are actually, how can I say it? Probably goes beyond what science can actually say about it to begin with. I mean, science, people talk about science, and science is wonderful, but just to bring it to light a little bit more, just to, how can I say, to be very human about it, is to understand its limitations. And they're definitely, and I brought up his book before, what is it, The 5 Easy Pieces, and he is, Richard Feynman, and he talks about the limitations in science because it's humans observing based on their the knowledge they have. Now, science has probably come a long way. Probably science is helpful in many ways, but I've actually read a specialist like this cardiologist from out of Sunnybrook Hospital here in Toronto, and even in there he went through the various tests that they have to test for people to understand their heart health, and even he says half of them he won't even tip his hat to, because again, it's theory. So they come up with and say, well, this means this, but how accurate is that? And so he was kind of wishy-washy with some of these and decided not to use some of these tests. And some of these tests that you're probably getting and being useful, they were familiar with me. I just haven't read the book for, it's been a long time since I read the book, but that I remember that distinctly. Even this cardiologist specialist, and he has since recently passed, so he was up there in his 80s, I'm going to say. Very wonderful, very well respected, and that was his opinion on tests. So if we think something equals this just based on our observation, it may not be true. So science, I just always want to kind of bring us, ground us on science. And I mean, if you can already agree with me probably that science doesn't know everything, because we don't have the cure for cancer, and we don't have a cure for all of these, all of these many different things are out there. And do they want them? Are they going the right way around, to work with them? It seems to me that they're not getting at the root causes and actually just focused on the symptoms. That is my opinion there. So let's just see what else we have in here. Did want to bring up that Definitely from the poll, why do you wear a mask? You can easily see where people are with this, and I don't think it's changed much. The opinions that exist are nope, and they're not wearing a mask for their freedoms. They're not wearing a mask because they don't believe they work. They are wearing a mask because it's the only way they can get into shopping, and they don't want to have any guff. They don't want to have any looks. They don't want to have any confrontations. And fair enough, fair enough. And that's probably through other areas in their life, it's been like that too. Don't want to rock the boat. Me, on the other hand, I don't make it a thing to go to the store every day to push it, to shove it in people's faces. No. I've been in the green zone this whole time. I do whatever I want, how it's always whatever I've needed. The only thing is, I used to go to Costco with my friend, but no. So I don't have the account anymore. Just let it ride out, and that's it. So if companies want to kind of do that stuff, then they're just not going to get my business. And some people have taken that stance as well. I don't hate them. I'd rather support the small businesses anyway, and the local businesses, even though I know, there's larger businesses behind there, some of them. But that's what I'd rather do anyway. So let's just see what else I had in here. You're going to just have to watch these short videos for sure, because there's a number of points, a number of research, so it's kind of great. And they're videos, so I can't unpack it. It's not an article, that's for sure. So it's not an article, but I do have something else here. The World Health Organization here. I like to go to the source. So this is an information notice, and this is to do with these test users. And it has some interesting things in here. It's dated January the 13th, 2021. And this is laboratory professionals and users of IVD. So I wanted to, now what's IVD? I'm going to show you in vitro diagnostic medical devices. So short form for that. So the purpose is to bring clarity, clarify information previously brought by the WHO. And this notice supersedes the WHO information notices in May 2020. So we're talking January 2021 and or whatever. They have 05, so it was issued December 14th. So they have a couple different dates. I guess it's not May. So maybe December 14th. So a month later, they have this. Now, they say read this and follow this. One of the interesting things here is it says that WHO reminds IVD, now users, that disease prevalence alters the predictive value of test results. As disease prevalence decreases, the risk of false positive increases. So you think of anybody who has a test and they test positive. Now, this is besides Carrie Mullis, Dr. Carrie Mullis, who created the test. This is not for infectious diseases, right? So even this is a little tidbit that I want to give you out of reading this, is that if a person who has a positive result is truly infected with SARS-CoV-2, decreases of prevalence decreases, irrespective of claimed specificity. Okay, so I'm going to have to unpack this a little bit here, but really what I want to say about this, rather than going through it and then having this jargon, is that if you get a test and the test is positive, and you have little to no symptoms, get another test. Okay, get another test. Because and also, because I've mentioned this before, is if you've had a cold, and I'm saying just a cold, you may have a false positive. At Toronto Public Health, they said we cannot test people who have had positive symptoms of colds or flus or some anything in that coronavirus family for 3 months. So these are a couple of things I'll post this up here too, But at the end of the day, there has to be, most PCR assays are indicated as an aid, okay, for diagnosis. Therefore, healthcare providers must consider any result in combination with timing of sampling. And I just said 3 months. If you've had a cold, maybe a small indication of a cold, specimen type, not sure what that means, maybe it's this or that, assay specifics, clinical observations, your symptoms, right? Patient history, confirmed status of any contacts, and epidemiological information as well. So that's a whole mouthful there, but at the end of the day, if I send you this link and you get or anybody you know gets a positive test and they have 0 symptoms or very little symptoms, like some I'm hearing has the sniffles, then let's say you're just not going to the hospital, any of that factor. As one doctor says in one of these videos, and the Canadian doctors that share, you stay home. You stay home. Now, one of the key things that comes out that I'm going to mention that's in these videos is about how to take care of yourself, or even if you have any signs. And this hasn't changed for a number of years. And what they kept recommending is vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin C. There's some very simple things can come into play to take care of yourself. If any of my 2 girls, if either one of them ever got sick, and we're talking about from very little to any time, even now, I will say, okay, this is the time to take note. You are not, you're eating maybe too much sugar, too much carbs. So cut back, eat only twice, eat light, twice a day, eat light. Rest, get to bed early. Sleep longer if you have to. Certain things like that. Take not a very, very, very hot shower, but take a good shower and clear things out. Even a sinus flush, in some cases, I'd get them. My older daughter would do it. But these are some of the simple things. Now, the things that they were talking about vitamin D, which I think is great because the doctors can say that. See, the recommended daily allowance for vitamin D, as in a supplement when you go to buy them, and it's law that they do this, or they have, the natural product number, is 1,000 international units of vitamin D. That's it. So I don't mind the lower recommended doses because of the artificial supplements. I actually really like that they actually have much lower doses, and that way people's livers, people's systems aren't getting overwhelmed with artificial stuff, right? Artificial stuff, because they put in sawdust. Anytime you see the word cellulose, that is sawdust. Primarily it's going to be kind of plenty, something you wouldn't eat, right? So I just I'll put that link there to the World Health Organization. It's a little, again, you might not be able to understand it completely, but if you can just remember one thing, that there's a number of things they have to consider in conjunction with the test, that they're using, that certain test. But yeah, so I take 7,500 vitamin D every day. That's what I'm taking. And if that helps, certainly there's other things to do as well. Let's see what else is. Yes, so the key thing is the right weapon at the right time. This is Dr. Geert, and this current injection is by far a problematic way of dealing with this, because it's going to push your natural immunity to the side. It's going to make it smaller. It's not going to make it, I think Bigtree calls it the bully. So this injection is going to be creating a bully in your system, which is just going to push your innate natural immunity into the corner and have it do what it needs to do. Now, this is a vaccine expert. This is a doctor. He's been, you'll see his credentials. Bigtree, on his particular video, he brings it up, and it might be on the other video too. You might want to watch both. I'm going to put both. I'm going to put the one link to Geert's, just that interview in its entirety, It's not that long. And then I'm also going to post the one with Bigtree because I'm not quite sure if he has the entire video on there. I think he does. But there, just in case. So, I mean, just in case you wanted to watch it in its entirety. So it's very good. And I definitely listened to it twice just to be in the place of understanding it more deeply. And Dell has some great football moves at the end. So if you like football, he has some diagrams at the end of his video that will help you understand what he's talking about, Dr. Geert. So you start to put things together. If I'm not a vaccine expert or a specialist or a medical doctor and I can figure it out, you can figure it out too, with maybe a little bit of help from somebody trying to, help you comprehend a little bit better, like Dr. Bigtree, or me just, talking about it here a little bit to give you a little bit understanding, simplifying a little bit more. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, because every modality has its jargon, as they say, right? So let's see what we have. So that's the crux of that, and you get those three videos, and then the WHO website that speaks to what we need to work on in the bigger picture of with the test. So that's important too. So once you've grasped those what I'm sharing today, down the links down at Live at 5 today, then you will be in a much better place of understanding what's going on. And I mean, as far as courage, sharing with kindness, and still pulling compassion and still understanding, if we want our freedoms, then we have to give everybody else their freedoms to choose. End of story. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that is I got a bunch of scribbles on here. Yeah, one of the things it came up today was supplement claims. I am trying to remember what it was about exactly. But here's the thing. This is what happens. Okay, I want to explain to something what happens, and then this will be the last little bit of news, and we'll get into some fun, some puns, some stories. Is supplements borrow information. And now I'm going to give you a real live example that I've gone through a story, and this is in the case of the Om seal oil. So I'm going to give you the story, and this is the best way for you to understand it. This seal oil is raw, and this makes a huge difference because of health. I'm not going to go into too much about why seal oil, why not, fish oil, whatever. But this raw seal oil was used in some research where it actually had nerves grow back. So this is people with diabetes over 1 year, double the dose, and they grew back nerves in their corneal nerve fiber length, right? So you have this product. It's the only raw one that I know, other than if you're going to go up to the Inuit or hang out with any of the indigenous people that actually harvest to feed themselves and use the whole animal, the cold oceans. So you have this product. When this research is published, then others can use it that have seal oil. Now, I'm not saying raw seal oil. I'm saying refined, bleached, and deodorized seal oil. And be it that it's an omega, you may be able to have other omega products borrow this research. When first of all, it's not mammalian, it's fish. And secondly, it's not raw and mammalian. And so what can happen is supplements can claim scenarios. You'll see it all the time. Vitamin C helps with this. Well, it wasn't that particular product, right? So I wanted to bring this clarity to everybody because I think this is something that most people don't know and never heard. Maybe you have. But the idea is when you have all of these supplements in the store and you have all of the vitamin C supplements that there are, and they could come from different sources and they could be different forms, and they make claims that they can and allow through the natural product number. Those products were not used in those studies. So genuinely speaking, there's a couple things to look at if I jump over to the studies. If they're using, I'm going to use the omega as an example. If they're doing research on fish oil, right? So they're doing research on fish oil over here. And this research on the fish oil, this fish oil was, well, first of all, it's fish oil. It's not mammal like us. So you have fish oil that's been refined, bleached, and deodorized, molecular distilled, you can call it whatever you want, purified. And you have this, and this is used in the research, and it doesn't give good results. Okay, so there's plenty of research that talks to omegas not working for the body. Well, it's artificially processed, almost a bit like artificial, and not entirely natural, that was used. That was the product used. So when I go to read the research, I absolutely want to know what product they used. Absolutely, without question, because this will make a difference to the research results. Now, the raw seal oil, be it it's mammal, is not like the fish. You're going to get different results. And even when I've had people come from krill oil, even, maybe from fish, maybe from krill, maybe from refined bleached deodorized seal oil, they still get a remarkable difference, a visible difference, when they use the raw seal oil. So I want to explain to you that with all the supplements out there and any different, whether it's vitamin D over here or vitamin C, vitamin A, whichever it is, minerals, that the source is going to make a difference in the results. Yes, and they can use the same research. Generally speaking, if I'm selling a tablet of vitamin D, one of those crystallized, I'll call it more, not that natural, artificial, they can still use the same and quote the same research as to what this can do than if you had an emulsion or that you had a natural oil of vitamin D. They're all three different, and they would absolutely give different probably results in the research, and maybe not, maybe I don't know. There's all these things, but I'm telling you they can use the research done that comes through in vitamin D regardless. So I hope that makes sense, and that is why sometimes things you've heard, you might have read something about something and it didn't work. This is only one reason, people. It's only one reason. There's other things at play here, but every time I do an analysis with supplements with my clients, or it might not even be the first time, and the second time I see them, but it's important to understand them more deeply, especially for those people who are taking 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20 supplements, and not any one practitioner knows what they're taking, and then kind of overlay that as a how can I say it, as a piece of the puzzle when trying to reach health goals or to be well. So that I wanted to do. I wrote that in there, and very happy to say, got the announcement on Saturday that I do have Irish way back. I won't call myself Irish, but Irish ancestry from way back when. So apparently hearing, maybe it's around the world, makes more sense, that March is going to be, now don't quote me on the name, Irish Heritage Month. Irish Heritage Month. And there's millions and millions of people around the world that have an Irish background. There was a lot of migration that happened out of Ireland when they had probably not just the Troubles, but when they had the famines, the potato famine, blight, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that migrated out from Ireland, and they have if you ever get to Dublin, they actually have a new museum. It's probably supposed to be state-of-the-art, won awards, top European attraction, and if you have any Irish in you, you can buy time, and they will help you understand your roots there, or even find relatives there. But it's kind of cool. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of the name of it. But anyway, you can't miss Epic. That's it, Epic. EPIC, if my memory serves me correctly. So let's get into some fun. Let's get into first. Talking about Irish, I got my little second book of Irish slang. The second fecking book of Irish slang that makes a holy show of the first one. Oh, they've got some things. So let's learn something, a slang phrase that they use and Irish. So the expression is knick-knacking. Knick-knacking. So it is ringing a doorbell and then hiding. Ringing a doorbell and hiding. So usage, the British ambassador was caught knick-knacking at the French embassy. Anyway, fun. So there you go. This is another one. I read this one too as well, and I really liked it. I can't resist. I'm going to give you a second one. It's called, if I'm saying it correctly, Jappers. So Japers. Jappers. And it means wow. But as the Irish are, whoever created this book decides to use interesting ways that usage is. So let me just say. So nurse 1. So nurse. Jappers, sister, the suppository for that man was very big. Nurse 2. Hey, has anyone seen my thermos? Jappers. There you go. So you learn jappers and knick-knacking. And let's go into actually a true story. So this is a book that I got at my father's place in his library. We're just kind of going through things. It's called The Remarkable Occurrences. It's true stories compiled from different times around. This is a romantic entanglement chapter. And so this apparently happened, United Press. And I'm not sure if I'm going to say the name right, Mrs. Zermac's Descent. Starts with a C. Mrs. Zermac's Descent. So this is in Prague. It's Polish. So Vera Zermac jumped out of her third-story window when she learned her husband had betrayed her. Mrs. Siersnek is recovering in hospital after landing on her husband, who was killed. The newspaper Veserny Pravda reported today. United Presses came in. So there you go. True story. Sometimes we think that things aren't possible, but we are absolutely going to get, an education on what is possible. The Luck of the Irish. Yes. So this one is a very old book. Jokes, Puns, and Riddles. David Allen Clark. I'm not going to look up the years. I did it the first time, but let's just see what we have in here. Now, there was a couple of, so Tina, I have a feeling my goldfish is very intelligent. How can I communicate with him? And Nina says, drop him a line. Now, let's see another one here. Next, Rick. If I saw donkey and made him stop, what virtue would I be showing? And Dick says, brotherly love. So let's say here, I only want to kind of read the ones that I've actually read, but that's it. We'll just go with that one. Okay, there you go. Some jokes, some laughs, some puns, and I'll remember to post one or two up there for others to see. But yes, it'll keep us sane, but it'll also keep up our vibration, because laughter is great medicine all around. However, we can share jokes and read and anything like that. And sometimes humor can be a little bit dark, and so sometimes I will even shake my head at some things. But there you go. So I'm going to run off and do whatever I'm going to do. Oh, got book club tonight. So if you haven't already, put down your number for the book, The Health and Longevity, the massive book. Let me know how it weighs. And it may be possible I'm going to have somebody here. I'm going to bring out a weigh scale. This is Wednesday at 5. I'm going to come on. It'll only be brief. It's not a full-out live at 5. It's I'm going to bring out the scale, and then if I have a witness here, then you will see. I've already weighed it, but then we'll have a witness here. We'll have a bit of fun. So if you haven't already, guess, put your number in, and see, and we'll get to see who the winner is on Wednesday. A bit of fun. And I encourage, do some contest, whether it's small, just within your family, within your friends circle. I don't know, think of some some interesting things to do if you know, whatever brings some fun, some play into it. Well, take care, everyone. Live at 5 Mondays, every Monday, but there may be another one in the week depending on information. As you know, information is continuously coming in regarding this event, and it's sometimes a good idea for me to unpack it while it's fresh in my mind. That's how I'll say that. Take care. So be kind, be compassionate to yourself and others. Find some play in your day, and take care of yourself. We'll see you again. Any questions, comments, anything, you can post it down below at any time. So take care, everyone. Bye for now. We'll see you soon.